Hey YouTube, you have Leonard here, bringing guys and gals chapters 29 to 31 of Oto Tomare. We have the school festival arc, as I'm going to call it, and I have to say, everybody, I know I just said the Kanto Music Festival was my favorite arc, but I'm a sucker for romance. I love my romance. This is now actually my favorite arc of the story. And I hope I'm not saying this every single time we get an arc. It feels like I'm going down the trend, but this is my favorite arc so far of the story because I really love how they get into the romance elements with regards to Hotsuki and Chika. But to my surprise, Kurusu and Kurata. Now, I don't know why I didn't see it. Like, there are little hints here and there, but I think this might be my favorite ship now. I don't know. So, long story short, Kurusu clearly has feelings towards Kurata, and we don't really know exactly where he stands, if he has feelings or not. That's hard to say. But I think what's really interesting is the fact that Kurata is just a really nice guy. He's a very, very nice guy. Kurusu, being the vice president and being alongside him, I think she's seen this more so than anyone for the most part, and she's become endeared towards him. She clearly has feelings. Now, what's interesting during this arc is the fact that it's a cultural festival. So all the different classes are getting ready to do different stuff. Class 2A, I believe it is, which is Kurusu and Kurata's class, they're doing a waffle house or a waffle cafe. Now, in the middle of this planning, they get split into different groups. They're in the shopper group. And it's interesting because Kurusu's friend basically calls her out. She says the fact that, oh, you become very boring. You're not interesting like you used to be. We know that the Kurusu of old used to be someone who's very condescending. She was looking just to ruin stuff. And for all intents and purposes, let's be real, she was very fake. And the friend is mentioning these stuff just you used to make fun of Kurata. You used to call him a Nadeshiko, which I believe, I'll look it up, but from my memory, it has to do with a maiden. It's a Japanese maiden. I could be wrong, I'll look into that. But she calls him an insult basically. And Kurusu feels embarrassed. But I like the fact that through all of this, Kurata's just kind of oh, it doesn't matter, I already knew you were doing these stuff. And it's just you're a different person now. Really like that. So now here's where things get kind of serious. While Kurata and also Kurusu are out shopping for materials, they run into Kurusu's friend from the past and now boyfriend. And they basically just oh, look at her with another guy, go figure. And the guy's just basically saying all this nasty stuff towards Kurusu and highlighting the fact that for Kurata, better watch out, this type of girl. And I love, this is my favorite moment of the whole arc, by the way, personally. So I'm looking at the panel right now. Kurata gives this man a sharp look because he's basically over here just you should watch out. If you trust her, eventually Kurata gives him the look. And then he's just with his passiveness, he's just thank you for your concern, but I'm a better judge of people than you. Passive aggressive at its best. Absolutely loved it. And this hit Kurusu in the heart. And she highlights how she wants to almost cry. And it's a good cry because she loves this man. He protected her. He sees beyond whatever people say. He sees Kurusu for the person that she actually is, and this is why she has fallen for him. Now, while all this is happening there, then you have Hotsuki and Chika, because the girls in Hotsuki's class are just kind of oh, Chika and you're so close, and also this all the guys in the Koto club, do you have anyone you like? And now for Hotsuki, she's somebody who was very sheltered, and she's kind of honestly emotionally awkward. She doesn't know how to deal with stuff like this. As a result, when Chika leans over at one point and they touch, she gets so flustered that she runs away. And this leads to a whole series of just Chika not knowing what he did wrong because Hotsuki can't face him. He thinks he's done something to make her upset. In actuality, Hotsuki is just very shy now and very self-aware because of her feelings coming out, and now she's thinking about it. So it leads to just overall between Hotsuki and Chika, and then Kurusu and Kurata, the whole club atmosphere is just kind of awkward, and there's this weirdness about it. I loved it. Where things get serious is that Senpai Mashiro, she was the senpai who, again, from the former Tokise Koto club, they failed to reach nationals. So as a result, they get together, they reminisce, she gets to hear the performance. Kurusu gets very jealous, as you can imagine she would. Eventually realizes that her jealousy makes no sense, and she apologizes. And Kurata doesn't realize why she's being jealous, but she apologizes nonetheless. All's good. But I think there are two things that are good about the Mashiro interaction. First and foremost, it gives us some insight into what Suzuka highlights later on this chapter. Suzuka brings out that this is it for the Koto Club as currently constructed, because if they don't make it to nationals this year, then by the time Kurata and Kurusu are in their third year seniors, they can't make it to nationals. So this is literally their only opportunity now to go to nationals as a group. So I think that adds needed stakes, because before you're probably thinking, like, and I did this with Chiayafudu, another series I love, they don't get it this time, they'll get it the next time, everything will be fine. No, it has to be this time for them to actually get to the nationals and win as a group. So sense of pressure is on. And then on top of that, Sensei clearly is aware of Kurusu's feelings. He gives her a talking to and highlights the fact that she doesn't have to lie to herself and her feelings. She should own her feelings, and that'll make her a better performer, a better person as a result. If those feelings are legitimate, then she should be able to hold on to those and still be focused on the Koto Club and not wanting to let any of them go. I think that was very good advice from Suzuka Sensei, who, as I said before, becoming one of my favorite characters. And one thing I didn't bring up before, but I think it was nice here in this arc, there was mainly a love arc, but again, we get really nice characterization for Suzuka and understanding really his genius. We learned the previous arc that his parents are like a world-renowned orchestra conductor and a genius pianist. Like, that's his lineage, and he is a genius prodigy composer. Ever since he was a little kid, he composed songs, etc. He grew tired of music, and we're seeing that now the Koto Club in particular is drawing that passion back out of him. He's seeing a reason for wanting to compose again, and he's making the songs for them. He's making the arrangements specifically because he realizes that in order for them to compete with schools like Himesaka and also with Hakuto High, they have to have a really, really strong song that highlights all of their abilities. So I like how that was kind of brought up here also as it relates to the preliminaries and trying to again figure out a song now that they can use with him arranging it that'll take them to the next level. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. So with that, everyone, those are my thoughts on this particular arc. A lot of romance. I'm here for it. A short arc, but very, 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 very enjoyable. And I can't wait to understand whether or not Kurata starts to realize Kurusu has feelings. When he does, how will the two of them continue to interact? That's very curious for me. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Thanks as always, everybody. I'm Leonard, and I'm out.